Well,
Oh boy.
ladies and gentlemen, something incredibly terrible has happened. Something undoubtedly,
Oh boy.
undestroyably, destructively terrible has happened. Me and Ari have spent the last hour and a half, I'm rounding up a little bit there, probably like an
Yep.
hour and 10 minutes, talking about said movie, The Lighthouse, only
The
for me to
greatest movie of all time.
realize that I didn't press record, and neither one of us want to record this whole fucking thing again. So what we're gonna
Yep.
do is we're gonna talk for 10 minutes now, recapping all of our points,
Oh boy.
so we don't have to do. Oh my god, Ari, can you believe it?
What?
It's
Yeah, no,
all
that's
my
this is
fault.
wild.
Oh my
No,
god.
you know what? This is why we need redundancy. We both record things going forward.
Oh,
My
that's
goodness.
true. Oh my god. Chat,
But what
you're
what do we even
angry right
say?
now. You're angry right now. We're angrier, alright?
Yes.
Me and Ari got to talk for an hour and 10 minutes. It was pretty fun. We talked about a bunch of shit. A million different
Yep.
interpretations of this movie.
Talked about the birds, the
Oh, hold
capitalism,
on.
the
Next
the
week is
women getting married.
Apocalypse Now, everybody. We decided that too, and by we, I mean me. Ari won't be here next week. This is a mini
Yep.
preview of whenever he comes back in a few weeks. Oh my god, I can't believe it. You don't understand the frustration,
Yes.
chat. You just don't. You just don't. You'll be angry. You'll be like, man, I wanted like an hour and a half on the Lighthouse. And I'll
Yep.
be like, we did that shit. Fuck you. Should have been here live.
Yeah.
And by live, I don't know what I mean because we didn't stream this.
What a terrible situation.
Let's summarize our points.
We-
Ari loves the movie. I'm
Yep.
hesitant to say anything about it. Very tentative in all my opinions. I did 4 stars on Letterboxd. I have no conviction in that. I feel like I have to rewatch it to know anything.
Mhm.
I had very wishy-washy interpretations. Ari had a fun, cute interpretation of the whole movie. You want to, I guess, go over that?
All right, all right. Once again, so Howard, do you want to tell my interpretation?
Oh, first of all, The
what
Lighthouse
you're-
is about 2 fucking idiots. They're going insane on a fucking tending to a lighthouse
Yes.
in the middle of nowhere on a remote island. Look up the fucking plot summary. If you,
It's the most, it's the most open-ended, ambiguous movie you can ever see, and yeah,
I don't know about that, but it's pretty open-ended and ambiguous.
Yeah.
We did a whole plot recap beforehand. Ugh, can you believe it? Ari,
Yes,
go
okay,
over
okay, so
your interpretation.
we got 2 characters. We got Winslow and we got Wake. So Winslow is a sane but guilt-ridden man for killing his co-worker when he was a woodworker. And now this sane, guilt-ridden man is being supernaturally tormented by his future self, which is Wake. And the goal of this supernatural tormentation is so that Winslow will confess to the bad thing he did, which is kill his past worker, before being judged. And the person doing the judgment is not a person at all; it's the lamp itself of the lighthouse. So, like when he gets to the lamp in the end, he is judged by it, and the lamp finds out that he killed his old self, good old Wake, and he judges him poorly, and Winslow is punished for all eternity. And then we talked about Prometheus as well, and we had like a whole thing about that. But here we are.
Yeah, I read a Letterboxd review that explained to me that the movie was actually about something about Prometheus, and I didn't know the Prometheus
Yep.
myth. Ari was like, well, obviously it's about Prometheus, you fucking idiot. And I said, fuck you,
Yep.
Ari, bitch.
Yep.
And it's
And
also
then I explained.
maybe about capitalism and labor or something, and how you think you're chasing the American dream, you're going to be successful in a labor and capitalism. You get to the top after doing violent things, after it breaks you, and it's a big nothing burger, and the light torments you or whatever, and capitalism sucks. Never heard that one before. I didn't really have a big, full interpretation. A lot of mine were piecing little things together. I talked about how for the first 45 minutes I was convinced it was just a big marriage metaphor, and Wake was the wife, and Robert Pattinson's character was the husband who goes out and does all the hard labor. Wake is the one that cooks, which we were tying it into the lobster monologue that I shit talk a little bit for being like a Marvel movie comedy scene structure. It was a whole thing.
Yep.
Oh, I also talked about how I couldn't figure out... I still have some of my notes here, so I can just briefly go over them. I talked about how I couldn't figure out why they were both named Thomas and couldn't thematically put that together, but that kind of fits in Ari's interpretation, where it's actually the older version of oneself, and it's sort of this supernatural purgatory type thingy going on. I talked about
Yeah.
sympathizing now that I have a real job with how sort of the hard labor at the beginning of the movie, and very much sympathizing with Robert Pattinson's character's fucking situation and stuff like that. I have a note that just says timber, which was probably to spur something on. Why'd you spill your beans, Winslow? That was a great scene. Not Robert Pattinson. William Dafoe shows up naked. He's got lighthouse eyes. It's fucking sick. I love little earworms like that where they repeat themselves over and over. How long have we been on this rock? We had a whole talk about that. I compared it to Portrait of a Lady on Fire a lot, especially the beginning parts with all the little menial tasks that are happening and sort of lulls you into the plot. We talked about a bunch of stuff at the beginning too. I don't remember now.
Yep. And I'm rewatching it as well. I'd watched it the first time and I didn't understand it, and I also didn't understand it this time, but I love it nonetheless.
Yeah, I rewatched it a few years ago at this point.
Yeah, like maybe 2019, even the end of the 2019.
Yeah, he was in there from the ground floor. He thinks he's special and cool. It was my first time through. Still a little confounded. I want to do many a rewatch to fully understand what the fuck was going on, and I think I will like it afterwards. I also talked at the beginning of what we recorded that no longer exists. Well, doesn't no longer exist. It just never existed.
Never existed.
Where I said, like, oh, this is the type of movie that I should really love, but I didn't have that feeling coming out of it. Where there has been things in the past that I've watched, I just can't put my finger on what they were, where I sort of came out of it not entirely understanding everything that was going on, but still had this profound, like, this is a 5 out of 10, I love this. I didn't really have that with the movie. So I guess I was being a bit of a negative Nancy, as we call it in the
and I was telling him
business.
how amazing it is. And you can go back and watch every scene, and all the scenes individually are amazing.
So everybody that loves this movie, right now you love Ari and you hate me. And you probably would have hated me more if we had actually recorded.
And Kyle said he's given it 5 stars after I convinced him. And,
I don't know about that.
No, he didn't actually. He didn't do it. All right.
We've been going for 7 minutes. We got to at least make it 10 minutes for the people.
The foghorn. The foghorn was great. The sound was loud.
It was a great sound effect. It's drilled into my head. I'll never forget it. I'll hear it in a YouTube video one time when some fucking YouTuber puts it in there. I'll be like, man, the Lighthouse. That was pretty wacky.
Oh, and you also said it was like one of the first horror movies, like actual classified as horror movies you'd seen.
But it wasn't very scary, and it wasn't really that much of a horror movie. And that Ari is scared of the witch. He tried to watch it one time, and we're going to watch it on movie night eventually. That's going to be an actual scary movie. I think we both said none of us had seen a Robert Eggers movie before this. You haven't seen any since. I'm sure
I've seen too many A24 movies.
Yes, and Ari's seen a bunch of A24 movies. I ain't seen... Well, Good Time, we decided was one of them, I'm pretty sure. So I had actually seen that one. The rest of them, I hadn't. I'm sure we'll watch more of them as we progress with movie night. I can't believe it. I can't believe. God, it was actually
I can't
good.
either.
We were talking well. We were saying some smart things. We were interpreting. We had a million different little interpretations. We were tying things together. It was a lot of fun. We were talking about how the movie's gross sometimes. Lots of farting, lots of jerking off, lots of coming, lots of mermaid pussy.
The acting's great. The accents are
Cool.
great, but sometimes they break. But maybe the break is intentional.
Yes, we talked about that. What else do we talk about? We're 8 minutes in. You got to keep going.
Well, was so much we talked about. I got notes, but what's interesting in the notes? Unreliable narrator. And then you talked about how you had this vague movie that you had something that you couldn't remember what movie you were thinking of.
Yeah, I forgot some points too, chat. You won't believe it, but throughout I was.
Oh yeah, he tied it into Mad Men and the Boardwalk Empire. There was so many. Everything is connected.
Mad Men, because they stole an identity or Lamau. Boardwalk Empire, because there's some. It's on the water and they're pretty similar in time periods. About 30 years separate, it's pretty similar.
So how about the 2 people that were there before the Winslow?
Oh yeah, we were talking about
who were they?
These wacky fellas that didn't say a word to them. They're like, "Ow, how's it going? See ya, have fun."
Yeah. So is that them in an eternal time loop or something? What's going on?
Probably.
We didn't talk about that. But...
Probably.
Yeah. Yep, there's mermaids. If you haven't seen the movie and you have a copy, go to 1 hour and 5 minutes in, and there's a great montage, and it goes for like 5 minutes. Watch that; it's great.
Yep. Well, we talked about drinking scenes. We tied into black sails a
Yeah.
bunch. They mentioned Neil
Yep.
hauling. That was funny. Remember black sails? I
Kyle said
remember
he'd
black
never gotten
sails.
drunk before in his life.
Oh yeah, Ari was talking about how relatable these drunk scenes were, but I never really got that drunk
Yep.
before. Were they drinking oil at some point? I can't remember.
Maybe.
Well, not that we couldn't remember, we couldn't tell.
Yeah, it's either oil, lubricant, some weird liquid
Remember when
related
the
to
house
alcohol.
like flooded and there was like pools of water everywhere? That was wacky. We actually didn't talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yep.
We talked about the light scene at the end. Crazy. He saw everything, but maybe he saw nothing. But it's very open-ended in that regard. Oh, something I remember I was going to bring up at some point was how he eventually gets to light, because he gets like he hits him with the axe one time in like the arm, but it's like the backside of the axe. So he's like bleeding. There was that funny part where he made him his dog and then buried him alive, and he delivered the monologue while he got dirt in his mouth, and that was yucky.
Yeah.
There's lots of Willem Dafoe monologues, lots of Robert Pattinson monologues.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe is so good. Just in everything I've ever seen him in.
I've only ever seen him in
I don't know.
Spider-Man and Death Note, I believe.
Oh boy. One day we're gonna watch my favorite movie ever, The Florida Project, and we'll see him in that.
Oh,
as
is he
well.
in that?
I can't. Yeah,
I don't
he's
know
one of
anything about
main
the Florida
characters there.
Project. I've definitely heard the name before, but
Yep. One of my 4 favorite movies.
yes.
A24.
My fucking
Anyway.
my fucking letterbox thing like that is so boring. It's like because you can put like 4 movies of your favorite. It's like Godfather Part 2, 2 Ava movies, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire. How boring. I need something interesting.
Yep.
Ari's got the Florida Project.
Yep. And a bunch of other ones you probably haven't heard of.
Oh,
no,
yeah?
they're actually some. They're
What are
mainly
they?
main. All right, have you heard of One Cut of the Dead? Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Shut
Point
up,
proven.
Ari.
All right.
I'll beat you up.
Well, no, that's a good movie. That's a horror movie. Anyway.
We were at 12 minutes now.
Yep. I think everyone go watch The Lighthouse. You know, one day maybe we'll re-record a rewatch of this.
Maybe
much later
at
in the
episode
future.
50, we're declaring it now.
Yeah.
We will both rewatch it
Stay
again.
tuned.
And we'll bring Jarky Bacon on, and he'll be here to
Yep.
apologize, and we'll talk about it in great detail. Hey, maybe I'll rewatch
Yep.
it soon, and I'll have to make 17 scripted videos because I just have so much to say about it. Follow the Twitter, follow all these things. I'm sure I'll talk about it somewhere. We'll talk about it on stream or something. Maybe if it's so profound, I'll record something by myself. I honestly, I don't know when I'll have time to rewatch it immediately. So anyway, something will happen regarding the Lighthouse of the Future. It's in the brain now. Nonetheless, you might not have heard us talk about it, but we did just explore it for about an hour and 10 minutes. Just all about our lonesome. So it's shaking around in there. Are we done,
it.
Ari?
What a tragedy. Yep. I'm glad everyone is here to hear this short recording. I hope you enjoyed.
I can't believe it. God, I don't think that's ever happened before. I've had it like cut out in the middle of recordings. I've never not pressed record. Because I remember I was muted and I was like, oh no, I nearly clicked record while I was muted. That would have been funny. A funny fuck up, Ari.
Yeah.
And then I didn't.
I mean, that would have been. Yeah, we could have salvaged that somehow.
Yeah,
boy.
we could have just had a one-sided Ari talk. At least we'd have something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is the worst day of my life. Well,
Outro.
I guess. Did I say Apocalypse Now next week? It'll be in the pinned comment. Ari won't be here because we're not making him commit to a movie a week. But he'll be back in the future. Wait, should we decide what Ari movie we're doing next? We got to do some of the Shakespeare shit. It'll be in like 3 or 4 weeks or something. We'll give him a bit of a break. We want to do... Oh, we did talk about that. We're like, we want to do all the Star Wars movies. We're going to do a bunch of Shakespeare movies. These are like the RE things we're going to do in the future. We'll do some A24. If we ever watch some of his favorite movies, like the Florida Project or something, I'm
One
sure
Cut of
he'll
the Dead.
jump on. Can you fucking believe this shit? We're mad. You're mad. Everyone's mad. Just like everyone went
Lighthouse.
mad in the Lighthouse. We talked about what an ending sequence. Anyway, this is where we do the outro. We sincerely apologize. And by we, I mean me. Ari didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't have to click record. I did.
It's all on Kyle.
But yeah, fuck you, fuck me. We'll be back next week. We're both on busy schedules, so we can't just record it again tomorrow. And I don't want to do that.
Kyle's a working man.
Yes, we got everything to do nowadays. Anyway, be back next week. I don't think there'll be any secondary channel content in the intermediate. So I'll see you back here next week for Movie Night Apocalypse Now. With that being said, support links in the description below. Thanks.